Okay, so today in the hairstyling class we're doing the partial highlights in a sliced form. So we're doing our normal, the 3 panels. These 2 are just clipped to keep them out of the way at the time, for the time being. So the first one I always recommend as a weave rather than a slice, because as it grows out, then you don't have a solid regrowth at the front. Still, because you're doing it in a sliced way, you want the weaves to be a bit chunkier so that they blend well with what you're going to be doing next. So when I say chunky, that means the space in between is there's quite a lot of space in between, and the pieces that you're taking are also thicker. Okay, so we're going to fold this, tuck this under, fold it back. So a lot of the procedure is the same as what we've done before. But the precision is really important with slicing, because if you get the slices wrong, or if they're not consistent, you'll really be able to see it in the finished product. So I'm pressing down, keep lots of pressure there so that I can get the foil in place. Then I change my position to do the middle part. And then the ends. Smooth it, fold it. And again, I usually fold this one twice just to keep it off the client's face. I'm going to take a space in between. Remember, always leave spaces in between because you don't want it to be too much color. And here's where we get into the slicing. And this actually in some ways is easier than weaving, because you just take your slice and you put the foil under. You don't have to weave. But what makes this a little bit tricky is that if you don't get your slices even or consistent, it could run you into trouble later with the finished result. Okay, so here again, so make sure that your spacing in between is as close as possible to being the same as the one you've done previous. Put in the foil. And try not to load the foils up with clips. Try to keep them, just keep moving the same one around so it doesn't weigh the foils down. And again, come as close to the edge of the foil as you can without going over, so you don't want to go down into that area. you see what I almost did? I almost didn't leave one in between. That would have been a big chunk of color. Now when you start to approach the crown, you want to switch back to chunky weaves because you don't want the color to cut across like this and finish. You want it to also cover some of the back. Even if this is a partial highlight, you still want it to have a full overlay effect. My last slice, and now I'm going to go to weaves. Okay, so back to a chunky weave. Okay, so the whole top panel is now finished. And now the same theory applies to the slicing as it does with the weaving. When you get to the side, you want to take out a half subsection right there to make a buffer zone between the two layers of color. Just a little skinny thing like this. Now, there's two ways that you can do this. The way we're going to do it today is we're going to take subsections going horizontally and then do chunky weaves all the way down. The other way to do it when students become a little more adept at it is doing slices this way. The biggest thing is not to do slices this way because the color is going to go the wrong way. So you want it to blend with the top. In other words, you want the color to work vertically with the head. So you'll get the same effect doing it horizontally with weaves, and it's much better, much easier for students to be able to grasp it in the beginning. So really clean sections, really clean subsections. All of this is paramount, or you won't get the results that you're looking for. Okay, so for the purpose of this demo, we're pretty much finished. You'll just continue down the side. The one thing you want to keep in mind is to try your best to put one at the bottom so that when she puts her hair up, you'll still have color down here. And then you'll do the same thing on the other side. Okay, thank you.